This is the spring on my car. It doesn't work as well as it used to, so I decided to replace it. There's your new spring. I've had to do this several times because the first time that I replaced it, this little piece stayed behind, and so the loud metal rattling noise I heard didn't go away. And since I've taken it apart a couple times, I found that there's a really easy, fast way to do it, and you don't have to take the shocks off, and you don't have to take the sway bar off, and any of the other stuff that you might read or see. This seems to be the fastest, easiest way to do it. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So let's do it. So I got the jack here under the lower control arm. I'm going to pump it just a few times so that this entire assembly is resting on the jack. Now we need to take off these two bolts on the control arm. They are both 19 millimeter. So grab a 19 millimeter wrench, snake it in here, and this is pretty tight. And use a 18 or 19 millimeter socket on this side and zip it off. And there you go. Now, this bolt is kind of low, or kind of there's a lot of shear on this bolt, and it's very unlikely you'll be able to just get it right out because of the way that the arm goes up and down, and it's kind of hoobly. So once you've got the bolt off the other side, or the nut off the other side, you'll probably want to grab a pin punch and a hammer and punch the bolt out for the other side. You might need to move the jack up and down a little bit to free this up, because as you drive the bolt out, this whole mechanism here is going to start losing its alignment. There you go. It'll take a little bit of wiggling and going, but you'll work it out. Now just release your jack slowly and the control arm will come down. Make sure you do it slow because you don't want the spring to spring out. And there you go. That's all of the tension off of your spring, as it's just laying there. And you are good to grab it and pull it out. On the other side, where I had the original broken spring, I actually did this all one time, replaced the spring, bundled it all up, went for a drive, and it was still making this loud metallic clunking sound. The problem was that the end of the spring that broke off had fallen into down here in the control arm and was sort of hidden up here, so I didn't see it when I replaced the other one. So when I went back in and re-inspected, I found that piece, pulled it out, and we were good to go. As for pulling the spring out, you just push down on the arm and the spring will pop out. You can either get a new perch or just reuse the old one depending on how it looks. This perch is in decent shape, so I'm just going to reuse it. The one thing with these springs is you kind of have to twist them in place. And so as you take this perch off, you can see an indent that was left from the factory spring. This could be good because you can use that to make sure that they're both in the right orientation on the car, so you don't have to do any kind of alignment marks or anything like that. And the spring will just twist out. Let me see which way. I think it'll twist out this way. There we go. And there's the old crappy spring. Doesn't really look so bad, but might as well replace it. And the new spring, at least these springs are marked with a sticker on them that says top. So that way is top. And to install them, you just do the opposite of the way you took them out. So that seat down there has some little like tabs that you kind of need to work the spring over and then twist, and it'll almost lock in. And there we go. Okay, so I got it twisted and locked in on the bottom there. Now, if I just use this, I can align this back up so that it twists in and comes to rest against this end here, like that. And now, since you locked into the bottom one and the top one, you're already all aligned and you're good to go. You just push the spring back over the little nubbin here, and we need to get the jack back under here and lift the control arm back into place, and you're almost done. Now, you're going to have to guide the control arm a little bit because it can move quite a bit front to back. You need to have it come over here. So I'm going to lift this down a little bit, move it over like this. You can even use the edge of your jack kind of as the edge of the cup to guide it. I think we're good. Now, there's a little bit of a balancing act here. One side will be lined up and the other side will not. So you pretty much have to get this side lined up, get the bolt in, and then get the other side lined up and drive it through. So okay. Now let's see if we can drive it in there. Okay, so we got that in. Just thread on the nut from the other side. And this is not a stretch bolt, but it is a bolt that gets a little grotilated. So if you got the chance, you might buy a new bolt and nut, but you can reuse the old one. The torque spec on this is, I think it's 60 Newton meters or 90 Newton meters, which is like 56 foot-pounds. I'm just going to torque it to 60, and there is quite a ridiculous balancing act you have to do here because the counterhold is in an impossible location. So I'm getting help to actually work the torque wrench. You got to pull it by the handle, not by where your other hand is. Okay, and there you heard it click, so you can go one more. We're good. One more thing is you should torque this while it's under load or under weight. That is absolutely impossible because of the wheel. Like the wheel totally covers this. So you'll see people say to torque this while it's under weight. What I did is just pump the jack up a little bit so you simulate the weight being on it, but you can still get to it. Make your own video and post it as a response if you find some way to torque this while the wheel is on, because it's a bitch. Okay, so we got that torqued. That was the only fastener we had to remove. Now we just need to move the jack stand out of the way and put the wheel back on, and we're done. So that's all there is to it. This is a really easy repair, and if you have to do this on your car, like if you got a shop saying, oh, you got to replace your springs, and they want to charge you pretty much more than the cost of a floor jack, it would be worth it to do yourself because it's really easy. The springs, I got the springs for $100 for the set, and you really don't need a lot of tools to do this. I mean, you could even use your lug wrench to take the lug nuts off. You need a 19mm socket and a 19mm wrench and a torque wrench. Or you could just do it by feel. So, yeah, I mean, give this a shot. This is definitely the easiest repair I've done on this car. Easier even than doing a set of brakes, really. So, hope that helps somebody save some time and avoid having to take apart a whole bunch of stuff that's not needed, shocks and all that stuff. So, yeah, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Yeah.